Hey everyone, welcome back. Today, we're building a fully off-grid tiny home with solar power from foundation to finish in just 30 days. This is a 160 square foot mobile tiny house on a trailer, perfect for weekends or full-time living. Let's break it down. Grab your tools, let's go. Start with a certified tiny house. Trailer hours is 20 feet long, 8.5 feet wide, and rated for 10,000 pounds. Level it on blocks using a laser level 4 precision. Next, we're welding steel outriggers every 4 feet for extra stability. To prevent condensation, insulate the underbelly with R13 spray foam. Now, lay down a 3/4 inch plywood subfloor, sealed completely with liquid rubber. Screw it every 6 inches directly into the trailer frame. This is your foundation. You have to get it right. We're using 2x4 studs at 16 inches on center for our standard 8-foot tall walls. Pre-cut your studs to make things faster. The wall plates are 20 feet long for the top and bottom, and the studs are 92 5/8 inches. To get that 8-foot finished height, build the walls flat on the ground using a framing nailer with 3-inch galvanized nails. Pro tip: add double top plates for strength, and remember to stagger your joints. Grab a friend to help raise the walls, plumb them with a level, and secure everything to the subfloor with hurricane ties every 24 inches. And remember to measure twice before you cut those window and door rough openings. We're going with a shed roof with a 212 pitch. It is simple and perfect for solar panels. Build your trusses every 24 inches using 2x6 south. For strength, use gusset plates or plywood triangles at the joints. Sheath the roof with 1/2 inch CDX plywood, making sure to stagger the seams. Cover it all with an ice and water shield, and then finish it with corrugated, galvanized metal roofing. For solar prep, run a 3/4 inch PVC conduit from the roof peak down to your electrical closet for the wiring later. Now, wrap the entire structure in Tyvek house, wrap and tape all the seams. Install 1x4 furring strips vertically every 16 inches. This creates a rain screen gap, which is crucial for letting moisture escape. For siding, we used pre-primed pine shiplap. Nail it on with stainless steel ring shank nails to prevent rust. For the windows, we chose double pane vinyl and flashed them with peel and stick tape. Finally, seal all the corners with a good quality sealant, like time for off-grid power. We're installing for 100-watt monocrystalline panels for a total of 400 watts. Step 1. Mount unistrut rails parallel to the roof, about 36 inches apart. Use roof C-brackets with butyl tape and stainless lag bolts, driving them straight into the rafters. Step 2. Secure the panels with mid and end clamps. We're using adjustable brackets to set them at a 30-degree tilt, which is optimized for winter sun. Step 3. Run your 10-gauge UV-resistant solar cable through that conduit we installed earlier, all the way down to your electrical closet. Inside, we have our key components. The charge controller is a Victron 130th MPPT. For the battery, we have a 200 Ali FiPio4, which is a 12-volt system. The inverter is a 2000-watt pure sine wave model. We also have a DC fuse panel and an AC breaker box. A very important wiring tip: label everything. It will save you a massive headache later. Also, use ferrules on your stranded wire for a clean, secure connection. Let's insulate the walls and ceiling with our 15 Rockwool bats. It's fireproof and great for sound dampening. Cover the insulation with 1/2 inch plywood, or, like we did, shiplap pine for the interior walls. For the ceiling, we who said tongue and groove pine, stained with a water-based polyurethane. The floor of our 6x8-foot loft is 3/4 inch engineered hardwood, laid right over the joists. It really makes the space feel cozy. No sewer, no problem. We installed a Nature's Head composting toiletette. Uses 0 water and has 0 smell. Our water system consists of a 30-gallon fresh tank under the sink, a SureFlow 12-volt pump, and an EcoTemp tankless propane water heater, which is safely mounted outside. The kitchen features a butcher block counter, a 2-burner propane stove, and a 12-volt fridge. And for the bath, we went with a wet bath design, using an RV shower pan and a curtain. Let's add the final touches. We installed LED puck lights on dimmers, a fold-down desk for a workspace, and plenty of built-in storage. We painted the exterior with a durable exterior. Latex we chose this beautiful sage green. Time for the solar test. On a sunny day, we're pulling in 2.2 kilowatt, which is more than enough for lights, the fridge, a laptop, and even Starlink. And that's it. Your solar-powered tiny home is ready. Today, we're taking on one of the most exciting parts of any tiny home build, the kitchen. We're going to transform this empty shell into a fully functional, dream off-grid kitchen. I'm talking propane cooking for those delicious meals, a solar-powered fridge that sips energy, and even some clever compost-friendly plumbing. And the best part, we're packing all of this into just 8 linear feet of space, keeping the budget under $2,000 and getting it all done in 5 days. Ready? Let's dive in. First things first, let's get our layout locked in. We're marking out an 8-foot kitchen zone right here on the long wall to give it some breathing room. We're starting at 2 feet from the door. Now for the bones, the framing. We're building our lower cabinets with standard 2x4 south, placing them on 16-inch centers. The total height will be 34.5 inches, which is the perfect standard height for a comfortable countertop once it's on. To give our drawers the support they need, we'll add a horizontal mid-brace at 18 inches high. For the upper cabinets, we're aiming for a height of 54 inches above the finished floor. They'll be 18 inches tall and 12 inches deep, giving us plenty of storage without making the space feel crowded. A crucial detail is the plumbing chase. We're leaving a 6x6 inch void directly behind where the sink will go. This gives us all the room we need for our PEX water lines and the drain pipe later on. To make this structure rock solid, we're resecuring every piece of framing directly into the wall studs and the subfloor using 3-inch spacks, screws. With our frame solid, it's time for cabinets and countertops. We're going for a smart IKEA hack here. We're using 2 24 by 24 inch section base cabinets. They're affordable and a great starting point. We'll make a few modifications, removing the standard toe kick so it sits flush on our frame and cutting out the back panel to accommodate that plumbing chase we just built. For the middle section, we're building a custom drawer unit from scratch. It's a simple 24B 24 by 34.5 inch box made from 3/4 inch birch plywood. We'll fit it with full extension slides and soft close hinges for that premium feel. Now for the star of the show, the countertop. We've chosen a beautiful, solid 1.5 inch thick maple butcher block. It's 8 feet long and 25 inches deep, giving us a 1-inch oberang. We need to make a couple of precise cutouts. First, for our 20 by 16 inch drop-in stainless steel sink. And second, for a 20 by 12 inch 2-burner propane cook. To protect this gorgeous wood and keep it food safe, we're sealing the entire block with 3 generous coats of mineral oil. Just look at that grain pop. All right, let's talk propane. Safety is the #1 priority here, which is why we never, ever store propane tanks inside the living space. We've mounted a standard 20-pound propane tank in this vented exterior compartment. It has a welded steel box that keeps the tank secure and allows any potential leaks to vent safely outside. From the tank, we rerunning a 3/8 inch copper line through a grommeted hole in the wall to protect it from any sharp edges. Once inside, the line goes to a regulator, then to a crucial shut-off valve for easy access, and finally connects to the cooktop with a flexible hose. As a non-negotiable safety measure, we're installing a carbon monoxide detector right near the kitchen. Proper ventilation is also key. We're installing this sleek 12-volt range hood, which vents directly to the outside, pulling any cooking fumes or moisture out of our tiny space. It's wired straight to our DC fuse panel. Now for the water system. Everything starts with this 30-gallon freshwater tank, which we've tucked neatly under the sink cabinet. From there, a SureFlow 12-volt, 3.0 GPM pump pushes the water through a PEX manifold, which then feeds our single-handle faucet. This pump provides great, consistent pressure. For hot water, we're using this EcoTemp L5 tankless propane heater. It has mounted on the exterior of the tiny home and provides instant hot water not just for the kitchen sink, but for the shower as well. It's incredibly efficient. On the drain side, water from the sink flows through a standard 1.5-inch PVC pipe into a patron, which prevents sewer gases from coming back up, and then out to our 20-gallon gray water tank mounted under the trailer. Since we use a composting toilet, we have no black water to deal with. And to keep our gray water as clean as possible, we've added a strainer in the sink drain and use a compostable liner to catch all food scraps. Zero food waste goes down the drain. Let's give it a try. And we have hot water. Time to bring in the appliances and get the power flowing. The heart of our solar-powered kitchen is this Dometic CRX65 refrigerator. It's a 12-volt compressor fridge with 2.3 cubic feet of space. The best part is that it runs on less than 1 amp when it's cycling, making it incredibly efficient and perfect for our 400-watt solar setup. We're mounting it inside a 24 by 27-inch cabinet opening, making sure to leave a 1-inch air gap all around, especially at the back, for proper ventilation. For lighting, we're installing dimmable 12-volt LED puck lights under the upper cabinets to illuminate the workspace. We've also added a motion sensor LED strip inside the cabinets, so they light up automatically when you open the door. For the wiring, the fridge is on its own dedicated 20 amp fuse on our DC panel, while the lights are on a 5 amp fuse. We're reusing high-quality 14 Gohimarin grid-tinned copper wire for all connections to prevent corrosion and ensure a safe, reliable system. We're on the home stretch. It's time for the finishing touches that really make this kitchen shine. For the backsplash, we're using this awesome Palain Stick subway tile. It's super easy to install, requires zero grout, and gives us that classic, clean look. If you ever change your mind, it's renter-friendly and easy to remove. Now, let's talk about maximizing storage. We've added a magnetic knife strip under the upper cabinet to keep our knives handy but safely out of the way. In that narrow 6-inch gap next to the drawers, we've installed a pull-out spice rack. No wasted space here. And for a multifunctional touch, we've installed this fold-down table. It's a 24 by 30-inch piece of birch plywood on a piano hinge. It serves as extra prep space, and when you flip it up, it's a cozy dining table for 2. The final step is to caulk all the edges where the countertop meets the wall with clear silicone. This creates a waterproof seal and a clean, professional finish. And just like that, it's done. Let's take a final walkthrough of our brand new off-grid kitchen. We have a full 8 feet of beautiful butcher block counter space, a 2-burner propane cooktop ready for any meal, our ultra-efficient solar-powered fridge, keeping our food fresh 24/7, and, of course, instant hot water on demand. Best of all, no leaks and everything works perfectly. Let's quickly look at the budget. The cabinets and countertop came in at $650. The appliances were our biggest expense at $870. The plumbing and propane systems cost about $280. And there you have it, a complete off-grid tiny home kitchen that is built to cook, conserve, and absolutely charm. It's proof that you don't need a huge space or a massive budget to create something beautiful and functional.